There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that their greatest enemy is not the world. It is the lack of control within themselves. A careless word can destroy years of trust. An uncontrolled mood can ruin priceless opportunities. Money without discipline disappears as quickly as it arrives, and a restless mind can turn even a peaceful life into suffering. Strength is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself. Today, we will explore the 4 pillars of self-mastery: your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind. Because when you learn to control these 4, you stop reacting to life and you begin shaping it with purpose, clarity, and inner peace. The mouth is one of the smallest parts of the body, yet it has the power to shape your entire life. A single sentence can create a friendship that lasts for years, while another sentence spoken without thought can destroy a relationship that took decades to build. Many people believe their biggest problems come from other people, but if they look honestly at their lives, they will discover that many of their struggles began with words they did not need to say. Speaking is easy. Controlling what you say requires discipline. Every person can talk, but not every person has learned when to remain silent. That difference separates the wise from the careless. Most people react before they think. Someone insults them, and they immediately respond with anger. Someone criticizes them, and they rush to defend themselves. Someone disagrees with them, and they feel the need to prove they are right. In those moments, the mouth becomes the servant of emotion instead of the servant of wisdom. Once words leave your lips, they cannot be taken back. You may apologize, but the memory of those words often remains in the hearts of others. This is why self-control begins not with your actions, but with your speech. Silence is often misunderstood as weakness. In reality, silence is one of the greatest signs of strength. Anyone can raise their voice, anyone can argue, anyone can interrupt. But very few people can stay calm when their emotions are demanding an immediate response. Choosing silence when your ego wants to speak is not surrender, it is mastery. It shows that you value peace more than proving a point. It shows that your emotions do not own you. Many people regret the things they said in moments of anger, but very few regret the moments they stayed silent. This is because anger clouds judgment. It convinces you that every thought deserves to become a sentence. It tells you that winning the argument is more important than protecting the relationship. Hours later, when your emotions settle, you realize that the argument was never worth the damage your words caused. The problem is not that people cannot speak wisely. The problem is that they speak before wisdom has a chance to arrive. Imagine carrying a cup filled to the edge with water. Every sudden movement causes water to spill. In the same way, a mind filled with stress, pride, or frustration spills careless words whenever life shakes it. Instead of trying to control every situation around you, learn to control what is inside you. When your mind becomes calm, your words naturally become calmer. A peaceful mind creates peaceful speech. Not every opinion needs to be shared. Not every mistake needs to be corrected immediately. Not every conversation deserves your energy. One of the greatest forms of intelligence is knowing what to ignore. Some arguments exist only to steal your peace. Some people are not looking for understanding, they are looking for conflict. If you join every battle, you will spend your life exhausted. Protect your energy by choosing carefully where your words belong. People often think communication is about speaking well, but true communication begins with listening. Most conversations fail because people are not listening to understand. They are simply waiting for their turn to talk. When you truly listen, you gain information. You understand emotions that words cannot fully express. You notice pain behind someone's anger and fear behind someone's confidence. Listening teaches patience. Patience teaches wisdom. Wisdom improves every word you eventually choose to speak. The strongest leaders are not always the loudest people in the room. They speak with intention. Their words carry weight because they do not waste them. If someone talks endlessly, people eventually stop listening. But when someone speaks only after careful thought, others naturally pay attention. Value is created not by the number of words you use, but by the quality of those words. A few meaningful sentences can inspire more change than hours of empty conversation. Gossip is another way people lose control of their mouths. Speaking about others may feel entertaining for a moment, but it weakens your own character. The person who constantly discusses other people's flaws rarely has time to improve their own life. Every minute spent criticizing someone else is a minute stolen from your own growth. Strong people invest their conversations in ideas, learning, and solutions. Weak people invest them in rumors, complaints, and judgment. There is also great power in speaking with kindness. Kindness does not mean agreeing with everyone. It means choosing respect even when you disagree. A calm voice can reduce tension that anger would only increase. Gentle words can encourage someone who is silently fighting a difficult battle. You never truly know what another person is carrying. A simple sentence of encouragement may become the reason they refuse to give up that day. Before speaking, ask yourself a few simple questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it helpful? Is this the right time? If the answer to these questions is no, silence may be the wiser choice. These few seconds of reflection can prevent years of regret. The disciplined person understands that not every thought deserves expression. Thoughts come and go, but words become part of reality. Your reputation is built one conversation at a time. People remember how you made them feel long after they forget the details of what was discussed. If your words consistently bring honesty, respect, and calmness, people will naturally trust you. Trust cannot be bought. It cannot be demanded. It is earned through consistent behavior, and your speech is one of the clearest reflections of your character. Controlling your mouth is not about speaking less simply for the sake of silence. It is about ensuring that every word serves a purpose instead of serving an impulse. The goal is not to suppress your voice, but to train it. When your words are guided by patience instead of emotion, by wisdom instead of pride, and by purpose instead of impulse, your speech becomes one of your greatest strengths rather than one of your greatest weaknesses. Your mood is powerful, but it should never become your master. Many people wake up each morning, allowing their emotions to decide how they will think, speak, and act. If they feel happy, they are productive. If they feel frustrated, they lose focus. If they feel discouraged, they give up on their goals. This creates a life that is controlled by temporary emotions instead of lasting principles. A strong person understands that feelings come and go like changing weather, but discipline remains steady regardless of the conditions. Life will never ask if today is a good day for challenges. Difficult people, unexpected problems, disappointment, and failure can appear without warning. If your mood controls your actions, every obstacle will throw you off balance. A small inconvenience can ruin your entire day simply because you allow one moment to influence every moment that follows. Emotional control does not mean pretending that nothing affects you. It means refusing to let one negative experience poison everything else. Imagine driving a car through a storm. The rain may reduce visibility and the wind may push against the vehicle, but you do not abandon the steering wheel because the weather has changed. You hold it even more firmly. Your emotions are like the weather. Sometimes they are calm and sometimes they are intense, but they should never take control of the direction of your life. Your values, your purpose, and your discipline must remain the hands on the steering wheel. Many people believe that anger gives them strength, But anger usually steals strength. It clouds judgment, weakens decision-making, and causes people to say and do things they later regret. An angry person often believes they are acting with confidence when they are actually acting without control. The louder someone becomes, the more obvious it is that they have lost command over themselves. True strength is the ability to remain calm while everything around you is trying to pull you into chaos. Your mood also affects the people around you. Emotions spread more quickly than most people realize. A negative attitude in one person can influence an entire family, a workplace, or a group of friends. In the same way, calmness and optimism can create an atmosphere where others feel safe and motivated. Every time you choose patience instead of frustration, you are not only protecting your own peace, but also contributing to the peace of those around you. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing every emotion they experience. Just because you feel something does not mean it represents reality. You may feel like a failure after one mistake, but that feeling does not define who you are. You may feel rejected after criticism, but that does not mean you have no value. Emotions often exaggerate situations. They make temporary problems feel permanent. Learning to separate feelings from facts is an important step toward emotional maturity. When something unpleasant happens, create space before reacting. Most emotional mistakes happen because people react immediately. Someone sends an offensive message, and within seconds, an even harsher reply is sent back. A coworker speaks unfairly, and anger instantly takes over. A small delay can completely change the outcome. Even a few deep breaths or a short walk can give your mind enough time to replace emotional reactions with thoughtful responses. A disciplined person does not wait to feel motivated before taking action. They understand that moods are unreliable. There will be days when you feel inspired and days when you feel tired. If your progress depends on your mood, your progress will always be inconsistent. The people who achieve remarkable things are often the ones who continue working even when they do not feel like it. They allow commitment to lead while emotions follow behind. Complaining is another habit that strengthens negative moods. The more you complain, the more your mind begins searching for reasons to remain dissatisfied. Eventually, even small inconveniences appear enormous because your attention has been trained to notice problems instead of possibilities. Gratitude works in the opposite direction. When you regularly notice what is going well, your mind becomes more balanced. Gratitude does not remove difficulties, but it prevents difficulties from becoming the only thing you see. Another important lesson is understanding that you cannot control everything that happens around you. You cannot control the weather, other people's opinions, unexpected setbacks, or the past. Trying to control these things creates unnecessary frustration because you are fighting battles that cannot be won. What always remains within your control is your response. That response becomes the foundation of your character. Two people can experience the same challenge and produce completely different outcomes simply because they choose different responses. Your daily habits influence your mood more than dramatic life events. Poor sleep, constant distractions, unhealthy routines, and endless exposure to negativity slowly weaken emotional stability. A healthy body supports a healthy mind. Regular exercise, enough rest, quiet moments of reflection, and meaningful work all contribute to emotional balance. While you cannot eliminate every difficult emotion, you can create a lifestyle that makes resilience much easier. Forgiveness is another form of emotional control. Holding onto resentment may feel justified, but it forces you to carry emotional weight every single day. The person who hurt you may have moved on while you continue replaying the same pain in your mind. Forgiveness does not always mean forgetting or approving what happened. It means refusing to let past events continue controlling your present emotions. It is an act of freedom rather than surrender. People often admire those who remain calm during difficult situations because calmness creates confidence. When everyone else is panicking, the calm person thinks clearly. They see solutions where others only see problems. This ability is not a gift that some people are born with. It is a skill developed through practice. Every difficult situation becomes another opportunity to strengthen emotional discipline instead of emotional dependence. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, because emotions are a natural part of being human. Joy, sadness, excitement, disappointment, fear, and hope all have their place. The goal is to ensure that these emotions inform your experience without controlling your behavior. When your mood no longer decides your words, your actions, or your direction, you become far more stable, dependable, and capable of facing whatever life places before you. Money is one of the great tests of self-control. Many people believe that earning more money will automatically solve their financial problems, but the truth is that income alone does not create wealth. Discipline does. There are people who earn a modest salary and build a secure future because they manage every dollar wisely. There are also people who earn a fortune yet remain trapped in financial stress because they spend without thinking. Money does not change who you are. It reveals the habits you already have. The modern world constantly encourages you to spend. Every advertisement tells you that happiness is only one purchase away. Social media convinces you that your life is incomplete unless you own the newest phone, wear expensive clothes, drive a luxury car, or live a lifestyle that impresses strangers. The more you compare yourself to others, the easier it becomes to spend money trying to prove your worth. But real confidence is never purchased. It comes from knowing that your value is not determined by the things you own. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing wants with needs. A need supports your life. A want satisfies a temporary desire. The problem is not having desires. The problem begins when every desire becomes an immediate purchase. Every time you buy something without thinking, you are not only spending money, you are spending part of your future. That money could have been invested, saved, or used to create opportunities later in life. Every financial decision is a choice between present pleasure and future freedom. Patience is one of the greatest financial skills anyone can develop. Most unnecessary purchases happen because people act on impulse. They see something attractive, imagine themselves owning it, and buy it before asking whether they truly need it. If you simply wait a day or two before making many non-essential purchases, you will often discover that the excitement disappears. The desire was temporary, but the cost would have remained permanent. Many people work hard every day, yet they never feel financially secure because they spend everything they earn. Their paycheck arrives, and within days, most of it has disappeared. They are trapped in a cycle where every month begins with hope and ends with stress. Breaking this cycle requires changing habits rather than increasing income. Even a small amount saved consistently becomes powerful over time. Financial discipline is built through repetition, not through occasional acts of sacrifice. Saving money is often misunderstood. Some people think saving means denying yourself every enjoyment in life. That is not the purpose. The purpose of saving is to create options. Money in savings gives you freedom to handle emergencies without panic. It allows you to make decisions based on wisdom instead of desperation. It reduces anxiety because you know unexpected problems will not immediately destroy your financial stability. Savings are not simply numbers in an account. They represent peace of mind. Another danger is trying to appear wealthy instead of becoming financially secure. Many people buy expensive items not because they need them, but because they want approval from others. They believe admiration is worth the financial burden. Yet, the people they are trying to impress are often too busy chasing their own image to care. A wise person understands that looking rich and being financially stable are very different things. Quiet financial discipline often creates greater success than loud displays of wealth. Debt is another area where self-control becomes essential. Borrowing money for every desire creates a future filled with pressure. Today's excitement becomes tomorrow's obligation. Every monthly payment reduces your freedom because part of your future income has already been promised away. Responsible borrowing for important investments can sometimes be necessary, but borrowing simply to satisfy temporary wants often creates long-term stress that far outweighs the short-term pleasure. Generosity also plays an important role in developing a healthy relationship with money. When money becomes your identity, fear begins to control every financial decision. You become afraid of losing it, sharing it, or using it wisely. True wealth includes the ability to help others when you are able. Generosity reminds you that money is a tool, not a master. It is meant to serve meaningful purposes rather than become the center of your life. Financial discipline also requires planning. Many people know exactly what they earned last month, but have no idea where it went. Money disappears little by little through small, careless decisions that seem insignificant in the moment. A daily coffee, unnecessary subscriptions, impulsive online shopping, or frequent dining out may not seem expensive individually, but together they quietly consume large amounts over time. Awareness creates control. When you know where your money goes, you gain the power to direct it intentionally. Another important lesson is learning to delay gratification. Successful people often sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term rewards. They understand that every wise financial decision today creates greater opportunities tomorrow. They invest in learning new skills, building businesses, improving their health, or creating assets instead of constantly purchasing things that lose value. Their money begins working for them rather than disappearing as quickly as it arrives. Unexpected financial difficulties are part of life. Jobs change, emergencies happen, and economic conditions fluctuate. These situations cannot always be avoided, but preparation makes them easier to face. Financial discipline is not about predicting every challenge. It is about creating enough stability that challenges do not immediately become disasters. Every wise decision you make today becomes protection for tomorrow. The relationship you develop with money often reflects the relationship you have with yourself. If you lack self-control in other areas of life, that lack of discipline often appears in your spending habits as well. Learning to say no to unnecessary purchases strengthens the same inner discipline that helps you control your words, your emotions, and your thoughts. Every time you resist an impulse, you strengthen your ability to make decisions based on reason instead of desire. Money should never become the purpose of your life. It is an important resource, but it is only one part of a meaningful existence. Health, character, relationships, wisdom, and peace of mind cannot be bought regardless of how much wealth someone accumulates. When you learn to control your money, instead of allowing money to control you, you begin making financial choices that support your values, protect your future, and create lasting freedom rather than temporary satisfaction. The mind is the command center of your life. Every word you speak, every emotion you feel, every decision you make, and every action you take begins with a single thought. Before success becomes reality, it exists in the mind. Before failure appears in the outside world, it often starts as a belief within. If your mind is undisciplined, every area of your life becomes unstable. If your mind is calm, focused, and disciplined, You gain the ability to respond wisely, regardless of what happens around you. Most people spend more time training their bodies than training their minds. They understand that physical strength requires exercise, repetition, and consistency, but they expect mental strength to appear automatically. It does not. The mind is like a garden. If you care for it, healthy thoughts grow. If you neglect it, weeds appear on their own. Fear, doubt, jealousy, anger, and negativity do not need an invitation. They grow naturally when the mind is left without guidance. One of the greatest challenges of modern life is distraction. Every day, your attention is pulled in dozens of different directions. Notifications, social media, endless entertainment, breaking news, and constant opinions compete for your focus. Many people wake up and immediately hand their minds over to the outside world. Before they have even begun their own day, they have already absorbed the emotions, worries, and expectations of countless strangers. A distracted mind struggles to think clearly because it is always reacting instead of reflecting. Attention is one of your most valuable resources. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. If you constantly focus on problems, your mind becomes filled with anxiety. If you focus only on what other people have, comparison begins stealing your peace. If you spend hours consuming negativity, your thoughts gradually become negative as well. You cannot expect a peaceful mind while feeding it constant chaos. Every piece of information you consume becomes part of the environment in which your thoughts develop. Many people believe they are prisoners of their thoughts, but thoughts are not commands. They are simply mental events. A fearful thought does not guarantee danger. A negative thought does not define reality. An angry thought does not require an angry action. The problem begins when people believe every thought without questioning it. A disciplined mind learns to observe thoughts instead of obeying them. It recognizes that not every idea deserves attention. Imagine sitting beside a river and watching leaves float past on the water. You notice each leaf, but you do not chase it downstream. Thoughts should be treated the same way. They come, they remain for a moment, and then they disappear if you allow them to pass. The moment you begin clinging to every fearful or negative thought, you become emotionally attached to something that may have no connection to reality. Mental peace grows when you stop fighting every thought and start choosing which ones deserve your attention. Worry is another habit that weakens the mind. People spend countless hours imagining problems that never happen. They replay yesterday's mistakes and fear tomorrow's uncertainties until they lose the ability to appreciate today. Worry creates the illusion of productivity because your mind feels busy, but very little is actually accomplished. Preparation solves problems. Worry simply rehearses them. A disciplined person focuses on actions within their control instead of endlessly imagining situations beyond their influence. Your inner dialogue also shapes your life more than you realize. Every day you are constantly speaking to yourself. Some people fill their minds with criticism, telling themselves they are not smart enough, talented enough, or capable enough. Over time, these repeated messages become beliefs. Eventually, people stop trying, not because they lack ability, but because they have convinced themselves that failure is inevitable. The words you repeatedly say to yourself become the foundation upon which your confidence is built or destroyed. Mental discipline requires protecting what enters your mind. Just as you would not willingly eat spoiled food every day, you should not constantly feed your mind harmful influences. Endless negativity, unnecessary conflict, and constant comparison slowly poison your thinking. This does not mean avoiding reality. It means choosing carefully what deserves your attention. Read books that challenge you. Spend time with people who encourage growth. Learn skills that strengthen your character. Fill your mind with ideas that move you forward rather than emotions that pull you backward. Solitude is another powerful teacher. Many people fear being alone because silence forces them to face their own thoughts. They constantly seek distractions because quietness feels uncomfortable. Yet some of the greatest clarity in life is found during moments of silence. When external noise disappears, you begin hearing your own mind more clearly. You notice your habits, your fears, your dreams, and your values. Silence is not emptiness. It is the space where understanding begins to grow. A focused mind is far more powerful than a busy mind. Modern culture often celebrates being constantly occupied, but busyness is not the same as effectiveness. You can spend an entire day rushing from one task to another without accomplishing anything meaningful. The disciplined mind learns to concentrate on one important task at a time. It gives full attention to the present moment instead of constantly jumping between distractions. Deep focus produces better results with less stress because your energy is no longer scattered. Every challenge you face is also an opportunity to strengthen your mind. Difficult situations test your patience, disappointment tests your resilience, and uncertainty tests your confidence. You cannot avoid every hardship, but you can decide how you interpret it. Some people see every obstacle as proof that they should quit. Others see the same obstacle as training that prepares them for greater responsibilities. The event may be identical, but the mindset creates completely different outcomes. The mind also becomes stronger through consistency rather than intensity. You do not transform your thinking overnight. Small daily habits gradually reshape the way you respond to life. Reading a few pages each day, spending a few quiet minutes in reflection, practicing gratitude, limiting unnecessary distractions, and regularly challenging negative thoughts all strengthen your mental discipline over time. These habits may appear small, but repeated consistently, they create remarkable change. The goal is not to create a mind that never experiences fear, doubt, sadness, or frustration. Every human being encounters these thoughts and emotions. The goal is to develop a mind that remains steady despite them. When your thoughts are guided by wisdom instead of impulse, when your attention is directed with purpose instead of distraction, and when your inner world becomes stronger than the noise of the outside world, you begin living with greater clarity, confidence, resilience, and lasting peace. Self-discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build, one decision at a time. Many people admire successful individuals and assume they possess extraordinary talent, rare intelligence, or incredible luck. While these qualities may play a role, they are rarely the true reason for lasting success. The foundation beneath every meaningful achievement is discipline. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. Without discipline, motivation fades, goals remain unfinished, and potential stays hidden. Most people wait until they feel inspired before taking action. They believe they will begin exercising when they feel motivated, start saving money when they feel ready, or work toward their dreams when the perfect moment arrives. The problem is that motivation is temporary. It changes from day to day, sometimes even from hour to hour. Discipline does not depend on emotion. It depends on commitment. A disciplined person acts because they have made a decision, not because they happen to feel enthusiastic at that moment. Think about brushing your teeth. Most people do not wake up every morning filled with excitement to brush their teeth. They do it because it has become a habit. There is no debate, no negotiation, and no waiting for inspiration. The action happens automatically because it has been repeated enough times. This is how discipline works. The more often you repeat a positive behavior, the less energy it requires. Eventually, what once felt difficult becomes part of who you are. The biggest obstacle to discipline is often not laziness, but comfort. Human nature naturally seeks what feels easy and avoids what feels difficult. Comfort whispers you can start tomorrow, skip today's effort, or make one small exception. The problem is that exceptions slowly become habits. One missed workout becomes a week without exercise. One unnecessary expense becomes months of careless spending. 1 hour of procrastination becomes years of delayed dreams. Small decisions rarely seem important in the moment, but they quietly shape the direction of your life. Every day, you are casting votes for the person you are becoming. Every healthy meal is a vote for good health. Every hour spent learning is a vote for wisdom. Every act of honesty is a vote for strong character. Every time you resist temptation, you strengthen your identity as someone who is capable of self-control. Likewise, every careless decision also becomes a vote, reinforcing habits that pull you away from the life you want. Your future is built not by one dramatic event, but by thousands of ordinary choices. One reason people struggle with discipline is that they focus too much on results and too little on process. They become discouraged because progress appears slow. They expect dramatic changes within days and lose patience when life does not transform immediately. Nature teaches a different lesson. A tree does not become tall overnight. It grows quietly, adding small amounts each day until one day people admire its strength. The same is true for personal growth. Consistency often looks insignificant until enough time has passed for its effects to become impossible to ignore. Discipline also requires learning how to manage discomfort. Every worthwhile goal includes moments of boredom, frustration, uncertainty, and fatigue. The student becomes tired while studying. The athlete becomes exhausted during training. The entrepreneur faces repeated setbacks while building a business. The person who succeeds is not the one who avoids discomfort, but the one who accepts it as part of the journey. Growth rarely happens inside your comfort zone because comfort asks you to remain exactly where you are. Your environment has a powerful influence on your discipline. If your surroundings constantly encourage distraction, temptation, and procrastination, maintaining self-control becomes much harder. Imagine trying to eat healthy while your home is filled with unhealthy food. Imagine trying to stay focused while your phone constantly interrupts your attention. Discipline becomes easier when you design your environment to support your goals. Remove unnecessary distractions, organize your workspace, surround yourself with positive influences, and make good habits easier to perform than bad ones. Another important lesson is keeping promises to yourself. Many people would never repeatedly break promises made to friends or family. Yet they constantly break promises made to themselves. They promise to wake up early, begin learning a new skill, save money, or improve their health, only to abandon those commitments after a few days. Every broken promise weakens self-trust. Every kept promise strengthens it. Confidence is not built by positive thinking alone. It grows when your actions consistently match your intentions. Failure is also part of building discipline. There will be days when you make mistakes, lose focus, or return to old habits. The disciplined person does not allow one failure to become an excuse for giving up completely. Missing one day does not mean abandoning the entire journey. A single mistake does not erase months of progress. The important thing is returning to the path as quickly as possible. Consistency does not require perfection. It requires persistence. Discipline is closely connected to freedom, even though many people believe the opposite. At first, discipline feels restrictive because it asks you to control your impulses. Over time, however, it creates greater freedom. Financial discipline creates freedom from debt. Physical discipline creates freedom through better health. Mental discipline creates freedom from constant anxiety. Emotional discipline creates freedom from unnecessary conflict. Every area of self-control eventually rewards you with greater independence and peace. Time is another area where discipline becomes visible. Every person receives the same 24 hours each day, but not everyone uses them wisely. Some spend hours scrolling through distractions without purpose, while others invest those same hours in learning, creating, exercising, or strengthening relationships. Time cannot be saved for later. Once it passes, it is gone forever. A disciplined person understands that how they spend each day is how they ultimately spend their life. Perhaps the greatest reward of discipline is not success itself, but the person you become while practicing it. Each challenge you overcome makes you stronger. Each temptation you resist increases your confidence. Each habit you improve strengthens your character. You begin relying less on circumstances and more on your own ability to stay committed, regardless of what life brings. The world around you may remain unpredictable, but your actions become increasingly dependable because they are guided by purpose instead of impulse, by consistency instead of convenience, and by deliberate choice instead of temporary emotion. Every person dreams of changing their life. Some dream of becoming successful. Others dream of finding peace, building wealth, earning respect, or achieving happiness. Most people spend years searching for the perfect opportunity, the right mentor, the ideal circumstances, or the secret formula that will transform everything. Yet, the greatest transformation rarely begins outside of you. It begins within. Before you can master your career, your finances, your relationships, or your future, you must first learn to master yourself. The person you become will always determine the life you create. The world teaches you to compete with others. From an early age, you are encouraged to compare your grades, your income, your appearance, your possessions, and your achievements with those around you. This habit creates endless dissatisfaction because there will always be someone who has more, knows more, or appears more successful. The wiser path is to compare yourself only with the person you were yesterday. Real growth is not measured by defeating someone else. It is measured by becoming stronger, wiser, calmer, and more disciplined than you were before. Many people believe their biggest obstacle is a difficult boss, an unfair society, a lack of money, or bad luck. While these challenges are real, the greatest obstacle often lives within. Fear convinces you not to begin. Pride prevents you from learning. Anger damages relationships. Laziness delays progress. Impatience causes you to quit too soon. These inner enemies quietly shape your life every single day. Conquering them is far more valuable than conquering any external opponent, because once you gain control over yourself, outside difficulties lose much of their power. Pastoring yourself does not mean becoming perfect. Perfection is impossible because every human being makes mistakes. Self-mastery means becoming aware of your weaknesses without allowing them to control your actions. It means recognizing your emotions without becoming their prisoner. It means noticing temptation without immediately giving in. Awareness is the beginning of change. You cannot improve what you refuse to acknowledge. Honest self-reflection is often uncomfortable, but it is also the doorway to personal growth. Your habits reveal who you truly are. People often describe themselves according to their intentions, but life responds to their actions. Anyone can say they value health, honesty, discipline, or kindness. The real question is whether their daily behavior reflects those values. Character is not built by words alone. It is built by repeated choices made when no one else is watching. Every ordinary decision becomes part of your identity. Over time, your habits become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. One of the greatest signs of self-mastery is emotional stability. Life will never stop presenting challenges. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Unexpected problems will appear without warning. The person who has mastered themselves does not expect life to become easy. Instead, they become stronger. Like a deeply rooted tree that remains standing during a storm, they develop inner stability that cannot easily be shaken by external events. Their peace comes from within rather than from circumstances. Patience is another quality that separates those who master themselves from those who remain controlled by impulse. Modern society celebrates speed. People want immediate success, instant results, and quick rewards. When progress is slow, many lose hope and abandon their goals. Nature follows a different rhythm. Rivers shape mountains through persistence rather than force. Seeds require time before they become forests. Every meaningful achievement follows the same principle. Lasting success grows through steady effort, quiet consistency, and the willingness to continue long after excitement has faded. Humility is also essential on the path of self-mastery. The moment you believe there is nothing left to learn, your growth begins to stop. A humble person understands that wisdom can come from anyone, and that every experience offers a lesson. They listen more than they speak. They admit mistakes instead of defending them. They seek understanding rather than constant approval. Humility does not make you weak. It keeps your mind open, allowing continuous improvement throughout your life. Responsibility is another powerful habit. It is easy to blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for every difficulty. While external factors certainly influence your life, blaming them endlessly removes your ability to grow. Self-mastery begins the moment you ask, "What can I do differently?" This question shifts your attention away from excuses and toward solutions. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That response gradually shapes the quality of your future. The journey toward mastering yourself is rarely dramatic. Most days look ordinary. You choose patience instead of anger. You save money instead of wasting it. You finish your work instead of procrastinating. You speak thoughtfully instead of carelessly. You remain calm instead of reacting emotionally. These decisions may seem small, but they accumulate over months and years until they completely transform your character. Extraordinary lives are usually built upon ordinary discipline, practiced consistently. One of the greatest rewards of self-mastery is inner peace. When your happiness depends entirely on external events, your peace is fragile. A compliment makes you happy, while criticism ruins your day. Success excites you, while failure destroys your confidence. Self-mastery creates a deeper kind of stability. Your confidence comes from knowing that regardless of what happens around you, you can trust your own character. You know you will respond with integrity, discipline, and wisdom, because these qualities have become part of who you are. People often spend years trying to control others. They want family members to behave differently, co-workers to think differently, friends to make better choices, or society to become fairer. While some influence is possible, complete control over others is impossible. The energy spent trying to change everyone else is often wasted. Imagine directing that same energy toward improving yourself. Every skill you develop, every habit you strengthen, and every weakness you overcome produces lasting change that no one can take away. The greatest victory in life is not standing above others. It is standing above the weaker version of yourself. Every day offers another opportunity to become more disciplined than yesterday, more patient than yesterday, more focused than yesterday, and more compassionate than yesterday. As you continue mastering your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind, you gradually become someone who is guided by wisdom instead of impulse, by purpose instead of distraction, by character instead of circumstance, and by inner strength instead of external approval.